They say money doesn't make a sound, but in our village it hums. It's a low, vibrating buzz that comes from the pockets of boys who shouldn't have anything. Kola was the loudest of them all. He was 21, driving a car that cost more than the local school and always staring at that glowing screen. But here's the thing. While his bank account was heading to the moon, his skin was turning to ash. I saw him at the tap one morning. His reflection in the water didn't look like a man, it looked like a mistake. He'd found something in the deep bush past the old shrine where the herbalist used to bury protection for the land. He didn't find gold or oil. He found a seed phrase scratched into a human thigh bone. Now look, you might think a digital coin is just code. But what if that code was written in blood? Kola didn't just mine a coin, he woke up a debt, and every time he refreshed his balance, he lost a piece of his own breath. Why did the richest boy in the village start sleeping in a coffin? Kola told me it started as a joke. He was out there looking for a signal, you know how the network is near the forest, and he saw a QR code carved into a tree that wasn't supposed to be there. He scanned it. Just like that, $1 million in Bitcoin appeared. No password, no verification, just wealth. But as soon as the transaction cleared, the countdown started. Right there on the top of his screen next to the battery icon was a timer. It wasn't counting hours, it was counting his heartbeats. 1 beat, 1 second gone. Actually, it gets worse. He realized that the more he spent, the faster the timer ran. He bought a house and his left arm withered into a gray, bony claw. He bought the car and his eyes turned the color of a bruised plum. The villagers called it modern Juju, but Kola called it efficiency. He thought he could outrun the math. I know what you're thinking, but this wasn't just a glitch. The herbalist who died in '98 had always said he'd return as something the youth couldn't resist. He didn't come back as a ghost. He came back as an algorithm. If you had the world in your hand but your heart was a ticking bomb, would you keep the money? By the third week, Kola was the talk of the state. Investors were calling him. People wanted to know his strategy. They didn't see him at night, screaming in the dark because his ribs were shifting to make room for a hardware wallet that was growing under his skin. Now, here is a value bomb for you. In 2026, the total value of lost crypto reached 400 billion. But nobody asks where that value goes when it leaves the physical world. It stays in the transition. It stays in the shrine. Kola tried to transfer the coins to his mother, but the app gave him an error. Host sacrifice required. He was trapped in a smart contract with a spirit that didn't understand mercy, only ledgers. He tried to delete the app, but his heart stopped for 10 seconds until he reinstalled it. He was a prisoner of his own success. It's a classic trap, isn't it? We spend our lives trading time for money, but Kola was doing it literally. Every Satoshi was a second of his life. He was the most liquid man on earth and the most bankrupt soul in the province. But then he found a loophole, or he thought he did. He headed back to the forest shrine with a shovel and a laptop. What do you think he hoped to find in the dirt? The night he disappeared, the sky was the color of a dead screen. I followed him not because I wanted the money, but because I wanted to see the end of the math. Kola was at the center of the shrine, his body twisted like a piece of burnt wire. He wasn't digging for more coins. He was trying to upload himself. He thought if he could merge his consciousness with the wallet, the countdown would stop. He thought he could live forever as a line of code. But here's the thing about old spirits. They don't want your mind, they want your weight, they want the space you take up in the world. I watched as his phone began to glow with a light so bright it turned the trees into skeletons. The countdown hit 10, 9, 8. Kola looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time he wasn't checking his balance. He was just a boy who wanted to go home, but the contract was signed. The transaction was broadcast to the network. When the timer hit 0, there was no explosion, no scream, just a soft click like a door closing. The phone fell to the grass. The car was still in his driveway, the house was still in his name, but Kola was gone, and the wallet balance, it doubled. Why did the phone stay on the ground, still mining if the owner was gone? They never found him. The police checked the logs, the family checked the hospitals, but Kola was deleted from the physical plane. But if you go to that forest shrine today and you open your wallet app, you'll see a new token. It's called Kola coin. It has no value on the exchanges, but it grows every time someone feels a spark of greed in the village. It's a ghost in the machine. Now look. We think we're so advanced with our private keys and our decentralized dreams, but we're just building bigger altars for the same hungry gods. The richest boy in the village didn't disappear, he just changed his state of matter. He became the currency. And that's the real secret of the 2026 curse. You don't own the wealth. The wealth owns the space where your heart used to be. I know you're looking at your own phone right now. You're wondering if your balance is worth your breath. But here is the final terrifying thought. If you found that phone in the woods, still glowing, still mining, and the countdown was at 1 million, would you pick it up? Would you take the trade? Because the wallet is still open, and it's looking for a new host. Are you ready to sink your heart to the chain? The phone is still ringing in the woods. Do you want to see who picked it up? Click here for the story of the girl with the golden eyes.